I kind of feel like I'm in the same place I was a year ago, and I don't like it. I don't even know where I'm going. I feel like I don't know who I am some days. To quote the Counting Crows, I want to make this year better than the last. I just don't want to quit this year. I don't want to quit on me. I need to learn to life better, you guys. That is my goal for 2024. I want better for me. I want different for me. And I'm hoping that 2024 is the year I can get there. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse and welcome to 2024. It's been a couple of weeks, but this is still my start of the year. So I had decided towards the end of December, as things went a little bit off the rails, everything's fine, life, I was going to give myself the first week of January off because I had a whole bunch of stuff going on that week and officially start my new year the next week. And then things continued to stay off the rails. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take January to figure stuff out. Because like a lot of people, I had all the grand plans. I was going to come in brand new, getting stuff done, all ready for the new year. And I feel like I was even more behind by the second week of January than I was the week before Christmas. It just got progressively worse. So I am taking a different approach this year, which is very necessary because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I kind of had an aha moment. So I've been listening to podcasts. I've been watching people's videos. I've been looking at people's ins and outs. I've been consuming other people's content. And there's so much of it that I'm like, I'm never going to be the person who's got a bullet journal set up on day one. That's not me. But certain aspects of different things I was listening to really hit home for me. So I have found, I really feel like Nano in November is what kind of moved the needle for me. And I started to be more open to doing things differently than I had done in the past, which is not to say that I haven't made changes before, but I've been really good at being quick to shut things down without even trying them and saying, that's not for me, that's not going to work, no, I can't, nope, no thank you, nope, not for me. And I really did some things differently with my writing this year, where I realized that things that used to work for me in the past no longer work for me. And some new things I tried did, not everything, but the idea that as seasons change, as we change in seasons of our lives, that what was working in the past isn't working. It's the definition of insanity. I'm hitting myself in the hammer over and over, myself in the head with a hammer over and over again, expecting different results and nothing is changing. And I also feel like I am trying to fit my square peg into the round hole. I don't want this entire video to be a cliche, but it sounds like it's going to be. But I'm trying to be more open-minded about trying things, even if they fail, to figure out what's going to work for me, and to being gentler, kinder with myself as my season is changing. And where I was a year ago, where I was 2 years ago, those things don't necessarily still work, and that's okay. And I was listening to the Lazy Genius podcast where Kendra had James Clear from Atomic Habits on it, and he talked about how just because you're not implementing the same strategies, habits, routines you had in the past doesn't mean they failed. They may have just pivoted because you have pivoted. So having that kind of an approach to things, not completely letting myself off the hook, which is something I'll talk about in a little bit, because I'm not looking for excuses to be like, I deserve a day off, let's lay on the couch and watch 8 hours of television, but more of knowing when to push, knowing when not to, listening to my body, listening to my mind, pushing myself when I know I'm being lazy versus pushing myself when I know my body, my mind, everything needs a break. So this is the kind of video it's going to be. Hunker down, buckle up, friends. So I had been thinking a lot in December about a word that I wanted. And my word in 2023, which I don't even know if I ever talked about it. I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff on here. I'm usually pretty much books, writing, and being a little bit weird. But my word was begin. And a lot of that was focused on my writing, was focused on trying to do things that scared me, whether it was, you can laugh, trying to do reels, being intimidated by things that I didn't know things about. I am very good at being intimidated by things I don't understand and that I can't master quickly, which I don't know what that says about me, but somebody out there is probably has some experience that could tell me. But to just start and to not kind of stop before I even got started. So anyway, I feel like the word kind of worked for me. Last year was really, really tough. There was just a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I got derailed a lot, and a lot of what's going to feed into this. So long story short, I was driving in the car in December. I was going to say on December. In December, I always listen to music in the car. That is my music only time. No phone calls, no podcasts, no books. No, that is me and my music. And I sing and I love it and I will never stop. And I always listen to my music on shuffle because you just never know what's going to come. And the Foo Fighters song Times Like These came on, which is one of my favorite songs ever. And it was the rock version, though I equally love the acoustic version. And I was screaming it and I was singing. And it was the line where he said, "It's times like these you learn to live again." And I was like, I need to learn to live again. So live is my word for this year. I just kicked the tripod. I 1,000% at certain times in 2023, like sleptwalked through that whole year, didn't push myself, gave up before I started, just went through the motions. I was like a robot in so many ways, and not in a way that like I enjoy my routines. So it's different than my routines, but I definitely drifted when I was trying to meditate. I definitely just sort of like clobbed my way, that's not even a word, through workouts, like wasn't paying attention, was phoning it in. And a lot of last year was just a big blur. So it was not all bad in any way, but I just know I was not trying with a lot of things, and I was letting myself off the hook, and I just wasn't living my life. And I'm sure, because I feel like I feel this way a lot, the beginning of last year, definitely at my birthday, I was like, I don't want to be in this same place a year from now. And for all intents and purposes, I kind of feel like I'm in the same place I was a year ago, and I don't like it. So some things have changed for the better. Some things have not changed at all. And I don't want to be here in January in 2025 having this conversation with you guys. So I don't mean I'm going to go skydiving. I'm not going to go do some like wild and crazy things, but I want to take control of my life. I want to live my life. There is a quote, which I'm going to get loosely wrong. If anybody remembers that show Lipstick Jungle, I will put the proper quote on here. Kirby's mom, who was played by Rosanna Arquette. So Kirby was dating Kim Raver's character. It was the younger man, older woman. They were in a long-term relationship. I don't think they ever got married. I think that was on for 2 seasons. And Rosanna Arquette came to visit, and she said to him, because she was sort of watching him play second fiddle to Kim Raver's character, to Nico. And he was a photographer, and she really felt like he was giving up aspects of himself for her. And she said, don't be a passenger in your own life. And I definitely was a passenger in my own life last year. I just let go of the wheel and just kind of like let it be. So I am clicheing, taking back the wheel this year. So live is my word. And then my theme for 2024 is consistency. So originally I was like, live was my word. And then I was like, maybe it should be consistent. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a word and I'm going to have a theme. So if Nano taught me nothing other than the fact that if you consistently write every day, by the end of the month, you can get a whole crap ton of stuff done. Like, I know this, but I needed to be reminded of it. And consistency was not my strong suit last year. I had highs and lows. I had peaks and valleys. I had good weeks and bad weeks. And I had a really hard time staying consistent on a lot of things that I said I wanted to stay consistent on. Like, I started the year great with my book, and then I dropped off, and then I stopped trying. And I feel like with so many things, whether it's Instagram posts, whether it's exercise, whether it is having good like eating habits, whether it's staying in touch with people, like whatever it is, I'm consistently inconsistent, and I want to get back to just consistent, period, the end. So word and theme for the year. And I'm not here to talk about like specific goals like with like numbers or subscriber counts or books I'm going to read or like any of that kind of stuff. To me, this is really about how I want to approach the year and things that are important to me. And I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to accomplish a lot of these things. But like the number one thing that is my focus, my priority that I want to put my all into is finishing the book. Finishing the book. How many years have I been on YouTube? How many years have I talked to you guys about books? This is the second book I have written since being on YouTube. I have not finished this one yet. I want to finish it. I want to pitch it. I want to try and get an agent. I want to try and get published. Like these are all dreams of mine. And with every year that passes, I'm like, I feel like it's one more year wasted where I just didn't get it done. And I look back like when I was younger and I thought I was old. But again, I don't want to be here next year talking about how I want to finish this book and be ready. So I have signed up for Thriller Fest, which is the last week of May. It's like, there's like an intensive that starts the Tuesday after Memorial Day, but like Craft Fest starts the Wednesday. So I'm going to Craft Fest and Thriller Fest. So that is my like mark in the sand. I want to be able to, number one, another one of my goals, be brave and talk to people and put myself out there. I am such an introvert. I am so uncomfortable with new people. It's very, very hard for me. And I'm very intimidated. I turn 10 shades of red. But I want to build my writing community more. This is so scatterboxy. Another great thing that came out of Nano is for the first time I did writing sprints. First time I did Sisters in Crime writing sprints. I had done a few in the past and it never clicked for me. The Sisters in Crime ones, I was like, well, let me just give this a try. I fell in love with the writing sprints, with the community, with the people. It was so much the same group of us. It still is. That 8 a.m. Eastern time group is the same core group of people. It's still 3 days a week now. I do it as much as I possibly can. I do it before work. We have a Saturday one now. It is game changing in terms of accountability, people who are encouraging to you, people who you can talk to about your writing, who understand it, and then also just laughter and levity and just what a warm, fabulous, fantastic group of people. And it has made all the difference. I don't know if I would have had as positive of a Nano experience had I not had that to look forward to and to keep me going. So I want to continue to grow that writing community because as I have found from my book community here, it's so necessary. And we all know, like, book people we're different, and writers, we're different. It's a different language. It's a different understanding. There's just something fantastically wonderful about it. So I was watching a writing event last night with a different writing event, and Kristen Bird was one of the authors, and she was talking about building her community and how she did it when her first book came out and she didn't know anybody. And she said, you just have to be brave. And she just started to message people on Instagram and comment on posts and find connections. So I want to go to Thriller Fest and be brave and make connections and talk to people and not just sit quietly in the corner or psychotically in the second row, was like staring at my favorite authors like a stalker creep. But I also want to be able to say, yes, I wrote this book and this is what it's about. So to be done with it, to have a tagline or, like an elevator pitch that I can talk to people about and not have it be this rambly thing, or I'm not sure, I'm in the middle of it, or I'm only on the first draft. So I'm using that as my guidepost to be at a point where I feel like good, because I want to find beta readers. I want to be able to pitch it. Like, there's so many more steps after I'm done with it, and I want to be able to talk about it intelligently and passionately and excitedly at Thriller Fest. So that's kind of one of my markers for my writing. And then obviously continue to polish it and pitch it. And then my goal would be to start something new by November for Nano. So to be done with this book, have it out in the trenches, and be working on something new. So writing, number one. And then continue to leverage things that are available to me. So I'm part of the Writing Mastery community. I have found some great online courses that are free. I am hoping that Writer's Digest does their thriller conference again online. So just making sure that I'm taking advantage of what's available to me. And I think in general, leveraging what is available to me, whether it is podcasts or articles. And like, I subscribe to so many newsletters and I file them without reading them. I take so many notes on podcasts and I write things down and then I put them aside and I don't do anything about it. So I'm really good at not executing. And I would like to turn that on its head and be someone who executes on my ideas, on my passions, on things I'm hearing about, and to take action, to take control, to take action. I need to take action on stuff. And I've had so many ideas, whether it's like Instagram posts or a YouTube video, or not even like about writing, but I mean like in like just things that I want to do, even if it's things around the house, and I don't do them. Sometimes I will do them and then I will stop. Sometimes the idea, it'll be like something timely, like it'll be like winter, which like, dude, I've got 3 months. Oh, I'm going to do a winter post about this. And then all of a sudden I'm like, it's spring. Oh, well, I never did anything about that. So being on top of like when books are coming out and doing reviews, and I talked about this, I think in one of my other videos, but actively promoting authors I love and raving about them and reviewing their books and doing what I can do for free to support authors, and then also pre-ordering when I can and supporting them with my wallet as like when I can. So to really just take action on things. This is so vague, but hopefully that resonates with somebody, like to actually execute on ideas. So I'm sorry, this is like, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. I needed a drink. All right, you want to wonder why it's taken me this long to do a goals video? Okay, so I talked about being a passenger in your own life. I also was real good at like sleepwalking through last year. So I want to stick to routines because routines work for me. I am a creature of habit. I like knowing what's coming. I like controlling what I can. So I want to have routines, but not necessarily just be on autopilot. And sometimes like the magic of routine is you're doing things on autopilot. So like, I don't even know what the statistic is about how many tens of thousands of decisions we make every single day. But it's one thing to like be in a routine of like, I get up and I wash my face and I brush my teeth. But it's like another thing to just autopilot my way through exercises, through conversations, through like just putting things away. And even when I go for walks, which you guys know is my favorite thing in the entire world, I'm really struggling right now because of the weather outside. I'm definitely feeling the impact of that. And even when I go for walks, I walk through the same neighborhood, I walk the same streets because A, I know how long it takes and there's a rhythm to it, but I try to go left instead of right. Or a lot of them they all connect. So I'll walk on the other side first and then loop back around. Or like I'll try to switch it up, even though it's the same routine, even though it's the same neighborhood, I won't take the same path every single time. It sounds so minor, but it makes such a big difference in my brain because I'm thinking about it a little bit differently and I'm paying more attention to it. So routine, but not autopilot. So a lot of things with intention. I feel like I have like 7 different words for the year. Intentionally reading, which I talked about in one of my videos that I filmed. I know I talked about one of the things I loved about bingo was I was mood reading, but with intention. And it's why I like to do reading challenges. It gives me some framework, but it also gives me freedom. And I very much enjoy that. Like that works for me. So I want to be intentional about what I'm reading, what I'm choosing. And I want to read all the new shiny bright things and be excited about authors' new books, but I also want to work on what's behind me. I had a meltdown. I was going to say a little bit of a meltdown. I had a full-blown meltdown the other day. I got a bunch of books over the holidays. I got gifts. I went shopping. I fell for the Barnes & Noble sale, all of it. I was filming a book haul, which you guys haven't seen yet. And then I was trying to put stuff away afterwards. I took my tree down. Things were all moved around. And all of a sudden I was just like, I don't have enough room for this. Like, what have I done? What have I done? Buying all these books. I think I had read one of them when I did the haul and talked to you guys about it, or maybe two. And I just all of a sudden got completely overwhelmed by my stuff and really, really mad at myself. And I just imploded. And then all of a sudden it was like, I've got too much of this and I've got too much of that. And why is everything piled up over here? And why am I not moving this? And why am I not letting go of that? And it just, like, so much. It all just felt like so much, and piles, and my writing is everywhere. And it's just, it's too much. So I don't even know how I got here. I want to work on learning to let go of stuff, decluttering things, making space is like a big thing that I want to be able to do. Not necessarily making space so new stuff can come in, but I know all of the psychology about having too much stuff, about what clutter does to a person, about unhealthy, like, mental impacts that has. And I have just accumulated more and more over time and have not gotten rid of things. And I don't know where this mindset comes from. I don't know why I'm afraid to let go of things. I don't know. Again, if anybody out there is a psychologist, feel free to let me know. I don't know what that comes from, like that fear of letting go, but I have a very hard time doing it. And I 1000% will just close the door and walk away and pretend like it's not there, which I know is extremely unhealthy. Like, I'm conscious of the fact that what I'm doing isn't working, but I haven't quite figured out how to fix it. So I would like to work on that this year. And I know, like, even trying to start small, I started to try and file paperwork the other day, and I was like, it's too much. It's too much. Like, it's just been a tough time. I feel like I don't know where to start, and I can't get started. So I'm not starting, and I need to get started. So yes, so I have try, get started. I want to have fun. And I feel like, again, I have peaks of fun, and this isn't about like going out partying or jumping out of planes or doing wild and crazy things. But I'm doing a 30-day yoga challenge, which I'm very excited about. And it's going well. I did it last year. I did it the year before. It's the Yoga with Adrienne. Krista from Books and Jams turned me on to it a couple years ago. And I like having that accountability, even on days when I don't feel like doing it. But after I did it the other day, I definitely feel a little bit like I'm cheating the system. Because some days I'm like, well, I did my yoga. That's it. And it's challenging, but I could do more. So again, I definitely feel like that fine line of like pushing myself versus letting myself off the hook because it's what I need, versus letting myself off the hook because I don't want to try to do more when I'm perfectly capable of doing more some days. So I just put my headphones in, put music on, and I danced for easily half an hour. I danced my way to 10,000 steps. I was probably at like 3,000 or 4,000 when it started, because basically my only exercise that day was yoga, where you get no steps and then just like walking around at home. I danced my way to 10,000 steps, and I'm not even kidding when I tell you I was so happy at the end of it. Like, endorphin rush, my body felt good. I was singing, I was moving, I was grooving, I was having a great time. Listening to music gets me inspired to do Instagram reels. There's a lyric I hear that inspires me for my book. Like, it all connects, and I know it's good for me. So I want to dance more. Talk about like the ins and outs, like those lists that people have. In for me is dancing. Not Oliver Quick dancing. Like, if you know, you know. I'm not going that far. But dancing around the house 1,000%. And I've done it before, and I love to do it, and I just want to do more of it. Get up and dance. Get up and dance. It's one of my things for this year. Okay, we talked about Thriller Fest. We talked about books. Did we talk about finishing things? We talked about finishing my book. I want to finish what I started, which is not to mean that every single project, but I'm real good at starting and abandoning ship. And sometimes things need to be abandoned. It's like, if you're reading a book and it's not working for you, I'm not saying finish it and hate read it. I have no time for hate reading anything. But just giving up, I need to stop giving up on stuff. So I also want to get ahead of things. So finish things and get ahead of things. I used to be a real like grade A planner. I knew what was coming. I never missed a bill. I was on top of stuff. I was so methodically managed. I don't know when that went away, and I was gonna do it this year. So I got my new day planner, done. I got habit trackers. I got weekly planners. I got new notebooks, like all the things. I got new pens. I got everything that was gonna make my life better, and everything is completely untouched. And I don't know why. I have 1,000% resorted to my Post-it notes on the kitchen cabinets where I write stuff down all the time. Meanwhile, I bought these beautiful little Post-it notes that have like top 3 things written on it and all these others. But I am very good at like buying the tools and getting the things, but not executing on them. And thinking these things are going to change my life and turn me into a different person, but not doing the work to become the different person. Or seeing somebody that I admire and I like and whose opinion I trust and value, and like trying to mimic what they're doing, and then shocker, it doesn't work for me. So I need to, which probably sounds kind of crazy maybe at this stage, I feel like I need to figure out who I am. So much has changed. Again, seasons, times of life. I feel like I don't know who I am some days. And I don't know. I just don't know where to start. So much more therapeutic than I thought it was going to be. Although I don't know if it's therapeutic for you guys. It's not therapeutic for you guys. If you're still here, thank you. I don't even know where I'm going. What else? Oh my gosh. So yes, planning and getting ahead. So I leave so much stuff to the last minute, whether I'm like editing a video the night before, I'm filming in a rush. I'm like, and not that I want to take, like, I'm not going to like batch film 3 months in advance where like a video you're seeing today is something I filmed 3 months ago. Definitely with some of my year-end content, like when you're going to see my December part 2 wrap up. Yes, it's late, but whatever. I mean, I'm not really concerned about like the timing of YouTube in terms of like, you can't post it at that point. Like I'm posting what I'm posting. So I filmed that New Year's Eve, I think. So yes, but I'm also like, hi, it's the end of December. Like you're going to know it, but I'm not going to film a video today and put it up in March. Like I'm not trying to get that far ahead of things. But when I think about like Instagram, every Tuesday, almost every Tuesday, I post new releases that are coming out. Like assuming that there's something that week that I'm excited about. If there's no book that I'm genuinely excited about, I'm not posting. But if there's something I'm excited about, or if I've been lucky enough to be gifted something by a publisher, I'm going to post about it. And the number of times I am doing the post that morning because I have let all the time ahead of it go is ridiculous. I know the books are coming out. Post it ahead of time. Like plan it ahead of time. Prepare it ahead of time. It's not hard. And then I can still spontaneously post the, hey, here's the book I'm reading today. I just started a new book. Because I still want to be able to do that. But my failure to plan, I feel like this is a Taylor Swift lyric in here. There's something about failing to plan. Like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, which I know is like something she took from someplace else. But I will have an idea for something. I won't execute on it. And then the moment is past. And I won't do it. And I'll go weeks without posting something on Instagram. So again, I want to be consistent. I want to have quality content. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want to be proud of what I'm putting out there. So when I talk about perfection, I don't mean that like my stuff is perfect, but it has to feel good to me, my kind of perfect, that I am proud of it and I'm proud to have it out there. And sometimes I will let that stop me 1,000%. That it's not perfect enough, it's not good enough. So I need to definitely like shift my version of perfect a little bit, but I will let that perfectionism stop me from getting stuff done. So that's not good. Paying attention. So I kind of talked about this with like not being on autopilot. So I don't even know when I started doing this. I created a little bit of a rule for myself. I used to be a massive TV watcher. Like I was the person who it was on all the time. It was background noise. I could tune it out. It was there. And I would walk in and out of the room. I would sit down to watch a TV show. I would be on my phone. I would be typing emails. I would be going through stuff. Not like half-ass watching the show is what I was doing. So I've made myself a rule where for one, I watch a lot less TV just because really when I started with Nano, like everything stopped. And it was basically like baseball season. I think I had like 3 or 4 weeks and then I went into Nano. So if I'm going to sit down and watch a show or a movie, I'm watching that show or that movie. No distractions, no things in my hand. And if I start to go to pick up the phone, if I get up to leave the room, like I'm pausing the show if I'm getting up to leave the room. And if I'm starting to reach for something else to do while I'm watching it, like it's over. I'm turning it off and I'm either doing the other thing that I'm doing or I'm putting the other thing away and I'm watching the show. So I had heard this a couple of years ago, and I think it was Mel Robbins talking about like snoozing your alarm in the morning, which is something else that I stopped doing however many years ago. And it's like, if you're doing things that I'm not doing, obviously it's completely cool. This is me trying to find out what works for me. But she had equated it to, and it can be anything, but she had equated it to like snoozing. Because she said, if you tell yourself you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and you set your alarm for 6 and you hit the snooze button and go back to bed, your day hasn't even started yet and you've already broken a promise to yourself about getting up. So I am trying to stick to some of these things. And if I'm watching TV, but then I'm picking up my phone, I'm breaking the promise to myself that I'm going to watch the show. It probably sounds crazy to people and it's totally fine. But I'm, again, trying to figure out what works for me and what makes sense for me. And I watched Saltburn, which I've watched it twice now. Wow. Not a show you can dip in and out of, not a show you can put your head down and miss anything in. And why would you want to? I watched Red, White, and Royal Blue, not all at the same time. And then I 1000% binged the crap out of Shelter by Harlan Coben. I'm in my Amazon Prime phase right now. And the magic of sitting down. I mean, it was like when you would go to a movie theater and you had no choice 20 years ago because you didn't have a cell phone. Or I guess 20 years ago, maybe we did. You know what I mean? Don't age me. Don't age myself. But to pay attention to what I'm doing. So I'm real good at trying to multitask. I know multitasking is the worst thing possible. I talked about this. You guys haven't seen it yet. Hold on. I have a book, actually. Okay. So speaking of lucky enough to get books from publishers, I got this book, Time Boxing, by Mark Zhao Sanders. And it's the power of doing one thing at a time. This came from St. Martin's. And this comes out in February. And it's the gloriously simple practice of choosing one thing to do, when to do it, and getting it done. So again, in the real good at starting and not finishing, real good at having ideas and not executing, I am the queen of multitasking in such a detrimental way. Even like stupid, I'm doing the YouTube things where I'm doing the box and I'm doing the end card and all the stuff you have to do in YouTube Studio. And I've got somebody else's YouTube video playing at the same time. And I'll stop and I'll look at it and I'll pay attention to that. And a task that should take me no more than 10 minutes will take me half an hour because I'm watching other people's videos or I'm looking for something to do or I'm changing it or I'm fast or I'm skipping the commercial or I'm doing whatever. Just like turn it off. Just like do the 5 to 10 minute YouTube thing and then go watch the video. I mean, like one thing at a time, man, one thing at a time, which is not to say that you can't listen to music and brush your teeth. You know, like there's certain things that you can pair together where you can habit stack. But that is very different than trying to do more than one thing at a time. So I'm very excited for this book, and it talks about living an intentional life. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. But I need to learn to do stuff better. How's that? I need to learn to do stuff better. I need to learn to life better, you guys. That is my goal for 2024. And then I feel like the last thing is to not quit. So I can get very easily discouraged when I'm not seeing immediate results from things. I definitely have been overwhelmed multiple times writing my book. And like during Nano, I had an idea about changing something. And it got like, I was like, what if I did this? And I was chatting with my people in the comments and I was like, I had an idea, but it means like a lot of work and an overhaul and I'm kind of scared of it. And everybody was like, if you're scared, you know it's the right thing to do. And I was like, I know, or at least to try it. And I was like, I'm not sure it's going to work, but at least to try it. So I'm going to do that on like the next rewrite. So the whole idea was like, I just got to get to the end. And like 3 days ago, I was writing a scene and it's kind of the last scene of the book. There's still scenes that are missing in between, but it's one of the last scenes. And I had an idea of like something I had already written, but it was like, what if she says this? And then what does that mean? Like, who is that person that she's talking about? And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I need this person. This person needs to be in this book. She's talking about this person. They need to be there. This person does not exist in the book. So if I decide that this is the way to go, and right now, I mean, I could feel totally different 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months from now. Right now, it feels like this person needs to be in the book. I've got to go back and not only put them in, but figure out where to put them in. And this is my problem. Like this is how like the ideas come. And I am scared and I am overwhelmed and I am intimidated by this. And I'm intimidated by the hard work that goes into it. And I continually have so much respect for people who actually finish their books and get them done and get them polished and get them published, because I am at such a point where it feels like so much that I just want to quit. And I don't, but like I do. I'm scared of how hard it's going to be. And the ideas don't always come easy. The editing for me right now is the hardest part. And in the same vein of like not being able to let stuff go, I've talked about this in other videos before. I'm a huge overwriter. And in all fairness, like there's other stuff, like this is like a whole Scrivener number, but this is like 150,000 words. 150,000 words. I would say easily 20,000 of that is like ideas, things that were cut that are just saved like in other places in the document and stuff like that. But still, this is over 100,000 words. And this is just, it's a thriller. Like it needs to be around 90. And I know that there's stuff that can come out. And I've definitely written one scene like 4 different ways. But the amount of work that's going to go in to fixing this scares all of it out of me. And I feel like with a lot of different things, whether we're talking about like, I mean, how many people want to kill me for I need to change my bookshelf. I need to organize my books. I need to get rid of books. Starting big projects intimidates me. I don't know how to break things down into smaller pieces. When I'm not seeing instant results, I just want to quit and give up and shut the closet door and walk away from it and sit on the couch and watch 8 hours of television. So I just don't want to quit this year. I don't want to quit on me. I don't want to quit on my goals. I don't want to quit on my objectives, my intentions, my consistency. So I'm really going to try not to quit on myself this year. I feel like that overarching thing is like, I do not want to be here a year from now. And if we're having this conversation a year from now, there probably will be tears. There will be no tears today. So I feel like those are all the things. We're not even going to get into my ins and outs. Maybe I'll do like an Instagram post. Follow me on Instagram. But I'm not like best year ever, but I want to make, to quote the Counting Crows, I want to make this year better than the last. And I want so many things. I want better for me. I want different for me. And I'm hoping that 2024 is the year I can get there. So I don't know. Maybe we'll check in a couple of months and see where I am. Maybe once I figure out some rhythms and habits, we can check in on that. I don't know if anybody even cares about anything that I'm talking about today. I showed you one book. Oh no. I'm trying to be better with my time. It doesn't always work. Okay. So on that note, I need to go do my yoga. It's my yoga timer. But thank you guys for listening and being here. This is probably like a very non-traditional 2023. So 2023, dreams into plans. This is what I'm going into this year with. I'm going to continue to take the next 2 weeks in January to figure some stuff out, but trying to get started in little ways. And I would love to know, do you guys have a word for the year? Do you have a plan? How do you approach the new year? Or are you like, whatever, it's just a day? Like, I'm definitely not someone who's like, you have to start fresh at the beginning of the year. It's a natural clean slate for me. And like I said, I really am very anxious to leave 2023 behind. So let me know how you are rolling into this year. And let me know anything you want to let me know. Let me know if there was anything interesting about this video. If you want to see more videos like this. I don't even know what to call this video. All right. I did make videos about series I want to... I haven't filmed that one yet. Authors I want to read to zero. On my list, I need to execute it. Series I want to start and continue in this year. I talked about... Oh, my 12 and 24, that one already went up, so you guys can see that. 12 books that I want to read in 2024. So I do have some bookish related, intentional planning stuff out there for you guys. And other than that, I'm going to go namaste. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here. If you made it this long, you guys know, rock stars, amazing. And I'm so grateful for all of you guys. And thank you for letting me babble about stuff completely randomly. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be bookish because it's going to be my December part 2 wrap up because it's already done. It just needs to go up. You just needed to hear this first. Okay, I'll see you guys in that one and I'll see you in another one after that. Take care, everybody. Bye.